Rain drizzled against the flickering lights of the lonely gas station. Sarah tightened her grip on the steering wheel as she pulled her old minivan beside the pump. It was close to midnight, and the roads were almost empty. Her 7-year-old son, Ethan, had dozed off in the back seat with his favorite stuffed bear pressed against his cheek. Sarah exhaled, her heart heavy but relieved they had almost made it home after a long shift at the diner. She stepped out, pulling her thin jacket tighter against the chill. The smell of gasoline and wet asphalt filled the air. She reached for the nozzle when a sharp laugh cut through the silence. 3 men emerged from the shadows near the station's convenience store, their heavy boots thudding against the pavement. They reeked of cigarettes and trouble. Sarah's heart skipped. She tried to ignore them, but their voices grew louder, their presence heavier. "Hey, sweetheart," one of them drawled, his grin twisted with malice. "Pretty late to be out all alone, huh?" Sarah kept her eyes down, her hand trembling as she squeezed the pump handle. "I'm just getting gas. Leave me alone." The men exchanged smirks. Another stepped closer, brushing his dirty jacket sleeve against hers. "Oh, don't be like that. We're just being friendly." His words dripped with mockery, and Sarah felt the knot of fear in her stomach tighten. From the corner of her eye, she saw Ethan stir in the back seat. She prayed he wouldn't wake up, prayed he wouldn't see. But his small head lifted, and his wide eyes blinked open, confusion flickering across his face as he noticed the strangers crowding his mother. The tallest thug leaned against the van, blocking her path to the door. "Nice car," he sneered. "Maybe you should let us borrow it. Or maybe we just borrow you." His laughter echoed in the cold night air. Sarah's chest constricted. Panic clawed at her throat, but she stood her ground. "Please, just let me go. I have a child." The men's laughter turned cruel. "Even better. We like an audience." Sarah's breath came fast, her hand trembling as she reached for her phone. Before she could dial, one of them snatched it from her grasp and tossed it across the pavement. Her last defense shattered, leaving her feeling utterly trapped. And then, in the distance, a low rumble rose. It started faint, like thunder rolling in from beyond the horizon, and grew louder, steady, powerful, unmistakable. Headlights appeared on the dark road, one after another, a string of glowing eyes cutting through the night. Motorcycles. Dozens of them. The thugs stiffened, their smirks faltering as the sound swelled into a roar that shook the ground. Sarah's heart pounded, not from fear this time, but from a sudden, inexplicable hope. The convoy slowed, circling the station like a pack of wolves closing in. Engines growled as the bikers surrounded the pumps, their leather jackets glinting under the harsh fluorescent lights. Patches and insignias marked their chests. "Iron Guardians," Sarah read on one of them. Their presence was overwhelming, their unity undeniable. The leader killed his engine and swung his boot onto the ground. He was broad-shouldered, his beard streaked with gray, his eyes sharp but calm. He surveyed the scene, and his gaze landed on Sarah, then shifted to the 3 men blocking her. "What's going on here?" His voice was steady, but it carried a weight that silenced the night. One thug forced a laugh, trying to mask his sudden unease. "Nothing, man. Just talking." The leader stepped closer, his boots heavy against the pavement. Behind him, the rest of the bikers dismounted, forming a wall of leather and steel around Sarah's van. "Doesn't look like talking," he said, his tone harder now. The tallest thug spat on the ground. "This ain't your business." The biker leaned in until their eyes met. "It is now." Sarah stood frozen, torn between fear and relief. The thugs glanced around, realizing they were outnumbered 20-3. The laughter was gone from their faces, replaced by nervous twitching and clenched jaws. "Look, we don't want trouble," one muttered. The leader tilted his head toward Sarah. "Then walk away. Now." For a tense moment, no one moved. The rumble of idling engines filled the silence like a warning. Then, slowly, the thugs backed off, muttering curses under their breath as they slunk toward the dark street. Their footsteps faded until they disappeared entirely. Sarah's knees threatened to give way. She clutched the gas pump for balance, her breath shaky. Ethan pressed his small hand against the window, his eyes wide with awe and fear. The leader turned to her, his expression softening. "You okay, ma'am?" Tears welled in her eyes, unbidden and unstoppable. I don't know what to say. Thank you. If you hadn't," her voice broke. He nodded gently. "You don't need to say anything. You're safe now." One of the bikers retrieved her phone from the ground, wiping it off before handing it back. Another crouched by Ethan's window, giving him a reassuring smile. "Your mom's tough," he said warmly. "She did good." Ethan's lips curled into a tiny smile, clutching his bear tighter. For the first time that night, he looked less afraid. The bikers stayed until Sarah finished fueling, their presence a shield of unspoken promise. When she climbed back into the van, the leader leaned down to meet her gaze through the open window. "Listen," he said firmly, "the world's got darkness in it. But there's light too. Don't ever think you're alone." Sarah swallowed hard, her heart aching at the weight of his words. "I won't forget this." The bikers mounted their machines, engines roaring to life in unison. As Sarah pulled out of the station, she glanced in the rearview mirror. The convoy rode off into the night, a river of steel and thunder, until the darkness swallowed them whole. For miles, Sarah drove in silence, her mind replaying the scene over and over. Her hands still trembled, but alongside the fear bloomed something else: gratitude, hope, even strength. From the back seat, Ethan's small voice broke the silence. "Mom, were they angels?" Sarah's eyes blurred with fresh tears. She reached back, squeezing his tiny hand. "Maybe they were, sweetheart. Maybe they were." And as the road stretched ahead, Sarah knew one thing with certainty: no matter how heavy the world became, she would never stop fighting for her son, never stop believing in the goodness that still lived in strangers' hearts. Because sometimes, in the darkest of nights, help came roaring in on two wheels. And it changed everything.